Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. I wanted to come to you live today to share a little bit about a conversation I just had with my walking buddy. For those of you who are just hearing me or coming on for the first time, my name is Gina Diamond, and I'm a conscious living strategist. And I help people live a more delicious life through nutrition strategies, body wisdom practices, and purposeful living tips. So when I was on my walk this morning, I did a couple things. I always take off my glasses. You've heard me talk about this before. This was taught to me by one of my coaches. It's really important to get natural light. It doesn't even have to be sunlight, which is important to say for those of you that are following me from my local area, the Pacific Northwest. It's really important to get natural light in our eyes. This can completely change our hormone outlook and distribution. So in other words, if you want to support your body in producing all of the hormones that you need to heal and move into a thriving point in your life, then not only is it important to get outside and be in nature, I usually recommend at least 30 minutes a day, but it's also important to get natural light in your eyes. So sitting inside looking at nature or sunlight, if you have it, is okay, and it might be, and if it does benefit you, awesome, but it will not do the things that it will do if you're actually outside connecting with nature. So that's recommendation number one. And of course, I always want you to try out the things that resonate. So in a lot of my posts, I might suggest a couple different strategies and start with the thing that really gets you excited, that really feels in your body like, yeah, I want to try that, or I want to do more of that, or I used to do that and it felt really good and I'm going to come back to it. So I also walk barefoot for as much of the walk as I can, unless there's snow on the ground. And this is just a really great grounding practice. And this morning there was so much dew on the ground. It was just really lovely. But what I really want to talk to you about is this conversation I had with my walking buddy. It was so beautiful. We were talking about doing our part to create the life of our dreams and surrendering at the same time. So as you know, I'm a spiritual person and I do believe in a higher power, and I connect with that higher power daily. And I believe that we co-create with the universe, with our higher power. And so there's this really interesting dynamic between doing our part and at the point where where you're feeling drawn to begin controlling the outcome or efforting, which I have to be honest, is an area that I am working on. I find that when things start to spin out of control, quote unquote, or when it appears that way, or when I go into fear, that's where I want to start really controlling. And what we talked about today was this idea of balancing out, doing our part, taking action, but then surrendering, letting go, connecting with your higher power and saying, okay, I'm being really clear about what I want to create here, and I'm really clear about the action that I need to take, and I'm not going to hold on so tight or push so hard or try so hard to get it to be what I want it to be. There's an openness about it. There's a flow about it. Welcome. People are starting to join. I'm glad you're here. When you can surrender, when you can let go, when you can say there's something bigger here in charge, and I am part of that, but I'm not all of it. And I don't have to do it all by myself. And I certainly recognize that the more I control, the more I hold on tightly, the more difficult life is. And oftentimes thank you for the heart, right? People get it. But living it sometimes is more difficult, because I believe in school and in society, we're not necessarily trained to surrender and let go. We're told to work harder. We're told to put in effort. And this often can backfire. So when we were having this discussion and I was being reminded that I was not surrendering, that I was efforting, I was reminded of this beautiful process that I created many years ago called the Powwow Principle. Powwow stands for pause, ask, wait, and there's a listening component to the wait, and action. And I was like, oh my goodness, I created this. Why? I created it by being inspired by nature, the universe, my teachers, my mentors, and it worked. It has worked so beautifully for me and so beautifully for my patients. So sometimes we have to get out of ourselves. I'm hesitant to use the G word, God, but whatever word works for you, source, creator, nature, can speak through other people, is what I was reminded of this morning. It doesn't mean we have to take everything people say to heart to be our truth, but sometimes it doesn't come through us. It comes through an experience or another person. And that's what happened this morning. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to be practicing the Powwow Principle, especially the pause part. And I am really excited because I got super clear that I'm going to teach this at my upcoming women's retreat that's going to be held on the beautiful waterfront on South Whidbey Island, June 28th through the 30th. And the retreat, if you haven't seen my previous posts, is called Healing the Three Brains, Unleashing the Power of the Head, Heart, and Gut. And I had pretty much dialed in what I was going to teach, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to be adding this in and teaching the Powwow Principle and having people start practicing it, so that they can be more integrated within their body, aligning their head, heart, and gut, and coming from a place of deep knowing, so that making choices and knowing how we should live our individual lives, what's best for us in terms of creating our vision and reaching our goals, the Powwow Principle. So yes, I hope that spoke to you in a way that you can take something with you immediately and start practicing it, whether it's getting out in nature a little bit more today, whether it's getting your eyes in natural light. And I forgot to mention that it's really important to do that. The earlier, the better. But definitely before 11 o'clock again. Thank you, Tanya Diamond. I'm not related to her. She taught me that for the circadian rhythms and to support circadian rhythms and to support your hormone production, etc. Walking barefoot, connecting with nature, and bringing in a piece of the Powwow Principle, specifically pausing more often in your day. Connecting with your heart when you pause is really powerful. Letting go of your thinking brain and sending anything that is not feeling resonant or supportive just feeling that, sending that, going back into the earth to be cleansed. You don't have to hold on to anything that's not supporting you. So that's my work for the day. And as you know, we teach what we need to learn most. So I am grateful to be able to share this with you. And on that note, I wish you a most delicious day, and I will be connecting with you soon. Take care.